and welcome to Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where tonight it is time for the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO Constructors. GEMCO Constructors, supporting your Boilermakers, is the presenting sponsor of the Matt Painter Show and a proud partner of Purdue Athletics. GEMCO Constructors says boiler up. I'm your host, Rob Blackman. Coach Painter is alongside. He will join me in just a moment. Lots to talk about with Coach Painter tonight, including two games that have come and gone since we last spoke here on the Coach's Show. And that being the win last Thursday night against Minnesota at Mackey Arena, 84-76 the final in favor of the Boilermakers. And Purdue then losing yesterday afternoon in Columbus against the Ohio State Buckeyes, 73-69. With all of that said, the Boilermakers now 23-3 on the season and 12-3 in Big Ten play with 5 regular season games remaining. Next up on the schedule is Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights will come to Mackey Arena for a game this Thursday night. Purdue and Rutgers, you may remember, have already played this season back on January the 28th. Purdue beating the Scarlet Knights in Piscataway. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about with Coach Painter tonight. If you are joining us tonight on the radio airwaves, we thank you for that. If you've caught us maybe the video feed on X or on the YouTube page or the Facebook page, we thank you for going through the trouble to do that as well. And as always, especially those of you that are on Facebook, feel free to chime in with your location, where you're watching us from tonight. Always nice to see where the Boilermaker fans are located throughout the globe on this President's Day. That's how dedicated we are to Purdue Basketball Coaches Show. We do not take President's Day off, folks. We are here tonight to talk Boilermaker basketball. We visit with the coach when we come back. It is the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO on the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Down, but they're going to need Elijah Hawkins to find some level of efficiency. 3 of his last 16 now from the field.
Meanwhile, it's been all Zach Edey so far for Purdue.
Comes off the screen, gets a pretty good look. I like the swagger that Mike Mitchell has brought to this team. He's had a nice year. He shot it well from 3.
As Edey finding Kaufman-Renn. Lawyer inside, takes the contact and scores it. But here's First taking his spot. Caleb First, instant impact off the bench.
Wow.
19-3 Minnesota run right now. Edey trying to change that. He does.
Well.
And now Purdue going into Kaufman-Renn. Hook shot. And it goes down 45-40. This crowd re-energized. Leading freshman scorer in the conference at over 11 a game, and right now Christie has 13. Here's Edey, and he knows what to do with that. Edey, Purdue's back in front.
He seals Fox up that lane. Again, it was the case with the Gillis 3, and it's the case with this assist.
They leave Morton. He finds Edey. Good decision.
What a rebound by Pharrell Payne.
Well, he just flew in, but he couldn't finish. And now Jones on the leak out. Back to a 5-point game. Braden Smith on the drive. Yes! And the foul.
They're going to need the 3 to go down, but they're going to need Elijah Hawkins to find some.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO, live tonight at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. A couple of scheduling notes. Only 2 more coaches shows to go, fans. The next 2 Monday nights, and then we'll be finished with coaches shows for the basketball season. So we'll be here next Monday night at 6 o'clock, and then that first Monday night in the month of March, and that'll be it. So if you haven't had a chance to come see us at Walk-Ons, please find a way to work that in your schedule if you can. Purdue head coach Matt Painter is alongside, and we do have a lot to talk about. So, Coach, let's jump right in. We will start with yesterday's loss over in Columbus, 73-69. Boilermakers, 14 turnovers in that game. Sometimes you can survive 14 turnovers, sometimes not. But when the other team has 22 points off those 14 turnovers, it makes it tough to survive that, does it not?
Yeah, no question. Those guys did a great job of converting our turnovers. into runouts, whether that was a couple threes by Jamison Battle in the second half. The rest of them just seemed like layups because they were. And, just having ball security, it was different. Like our majority of the ones that we had were strips at the basket. If you because people always just look at turnovers as just one thing, and it's not. It's multiple things. But the live ball turnovers are the one that are going to hurt you the worst because they got a chance to turn into quick points at the other end. And give Ohio State credit, they did a good job of taking those turnovers, those steals, and going the other way. Zed Key was really good.
Yeah.
I thought on those strips that he had, outside of the last one, I thought all of them were clean. I got a chance to watch, and the last one was a foul. But after he stripped him 2 or 3 times, and we got the ball back.
Yeah.
So he stripped him 4 or 5 times and got the ball.
Yeah.
So he got his hand in there 7, 8 times and did a really, really good job with that. So give them credit. But once you get that, and people don't understand where the ball is turned over on the court. You turn that basketball over there, and you got people in corners, and you got a big guy at the rim. You're flat. You're at 94 feet for 3 of your guys. So now you got to hightail it and go, man. You got to take off at that time. But that was probably the number one thing that jumped out. We dominated them on the glass in the second half. You got to understand we got out rebounded by 1 in the first half. And then to be able to out-rebound them by – which one am I at here? There we go, 13. Yeah. So we out-rebounded by 14 in 20 minutes. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. But you gotta score the basketball. If you're going to do that, we missed way too many layups, got small at the rim. We tipped about 3 or 4. You don't tip at the rim. You get it with 2 hands. You collect yourself. You shot fake. You go right back up and dunk it, or lay it in and get them. At least get to the free throw line. So had a lot of layups. Had 2 different times. We had 2 layups from Lance in the first half off an out of bounds play that we missed. Right. We just had too many layups in the ball right at the rim where we didn't get anything. And that's your job as a coach. Your job is to run stuff, to efficient, to get the ball in position to score by people that can do it. So getting the ball to Zebo, down there in those post-ups, we're going to continue to do that. Getting on the glass, continue to do that. And so we got to do a better job of just being strong with the basketball, taking care of the basketball, and just getting good attempts. Because at times when we just, get a good attempt at the rim, obviously, we can set our defense, but then miss, that gives us an opportunity to rebound, especially when you don't shock us. Like when you take a good shot and miss it, we got a very high percentage, one of the best percentages in the country to get that basketball. We just got to be better at what we do.
Zach had 6 turnovers in that game, and you mentioned Zed Key was a big part of that. He had 5 steals. But as I was thinking about the game last night as we were coming home from Columbus, I was thinking to myself, will that be the new blueprint against how you guard Zach Edey? But I thought to myself, even if it is a blueprint, I don't know a whole lot of guys in the country that can do what Zed Key did. I mean, that's very difficult what he was doing.
Yeah, Zach's got to do a better job of not exposing the basketball, more than anything, and keeping his body on him. Like they play that little dance with, guys, they don't want contact. An offensive player in a post-up position wants contact. A defensive player does not, because when he doesn't have that contact, he has freedom of movement to do things. When you have contact offensively and you get to him, now you feel him. And when you can't feel him, you don't know where he is all the time. And so, that might be hard for someone who doesn't understand post-up basketball, but that's just the golden rule of what you want to do defensively. You want to be able to play, and you want to be like a boxer and be able to move in there. The offensive guy does not want you moving like that. Yeah. He wants to physically get to you, hold that contact, and then he doesn't have to look where you are because he can feel where you are.
Right. Purdue on the wrong side of the scoreboard yesterday, 73-69. I thought it was, and you mentioned it in the postgame interview with Bobby Riddell on the radio network. It wasn't a matter of effort yesterday from our team. I mean, our team, they did fight hard. They got down double digits second half, came all the way back. We're within a possession of tying or taking the lead. Just a matter of just a little execution here or there. As a coach,
no question,
you're happy with the effort, obviously, and disappointed you couldn't execute just a tad better.
Yeah, it's like Jamison Battle's little sequence in there when he hit the 3 threes. Like 2 of them are in transition. One's off of a scramble. I guess it would be called a turnover. I mean, 3 people have the ball, and they're all out of bounds right in front of me. Like, I don't know how in the hell he misses it. I mean, it's right in front of me. Like, hey, it's either Ohio State's ball, it's Purdue's ball, it's a jump ball, but it's not a live ball. You got 3 people touching a basketball, and they're all out of bounds. And so they throw it, and they go get that 3. Those 3 threes were huge. Yeah. But the fact that happens is you got to get your defense set. You got to match up to people, and they get them in transition. And we, besides one shot, like, he didn't get his threes in the half court. And so, like, that was, like to me, like, that was a big part of the game. That's how they got that lead at that time. And, you know, we have to do a better job. Once again, and he got another one off an offensive rebound. And so, like, once again, it's like, don't allow second chance opportunities. Don't allow transition. And if you take care of the basketball and make those good decisions, you're not going to be in that spot.
Jamison Battle had 19 points in the game, all 19 coming in the second half. What a half for him. Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons here in the Purdue Memorial Union, or it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. When we come back, more with Coach Painter. It's the Matt Painter Show presented by GEMCO on the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Fletcher Lawyer in the backcourt. And Smith. This is the shot he loves. And he tied to the backboard, no good.
Big decision by Matt Painter just then to come out and double team Thornton twice.
Here's Jones. His 3 is good. He thought about it. There's the pass down low and a foul. Count the bucket. Everybody around the country knows who you're talking about. Thornton has all the points so far for Ohio State. And Edey with the catch and the finish.
To him. You go around the double. Now here is where he fills the middle. You can't vacate the middle of the floor.
4.
There's a good post up.
Very quick pass. Two-handed jab. On the short of it. Big time for Purdue.
Yeah, look at Edey. Pushes him up the lane just a little bit.
And here comes Braden Smith. And that layup is good. To Smith. Smith looking in. Not much is there for Kaufman-Renn. They go to Edey. Might as well. Oh, he sweeps it down along the baseline. Good look.
The ball tracked him a bit, but here's a pretty pass. A little shovel underneath. Nations are getting Edey the basketball.
There's the extra help, Jones. He's been cool today. Not right now, though.
Watch, they'll float Edey back to the middle of the floor like this and finish. Forget about it. The first may get the ball down low, too.
Brady Smith, that was a great steal.
Sure was. Smith, but also look down, low down there with first. He's just holding off his ground.
Oh, that means Edey is on Middleton. That's a size advantage. Edey wants the ball on the other side.
And they switch back.
Yep. Here's Jones right to the cup. He can't do it, but it's finished up by Edey.
So Edey will work the glass, too. Ball goes to the lane. This is a layup, right? Not quite. Edey finished.
Edey to the basket. Didn't have the angle, but the cleanup was there. Count up the free throw line to come within 3. Jones, 4-3. That's good.
Oh, on that play. Here he snips right around and he gets that shot off. Well done with the screen.
The 2023-24 Purdue basketball season presented by Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Earn a degree you're proud of and employers respect. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Rob Blackman here tonight with Purdue head coach Matt Painter. Quick reminder, next game on the Purdue schedule, Thursday night against Rutgers. That is a 7 o'clock tip-off, fans, 7 o'clock Purdue, Rutgers at Mackey Arena. Coach Painter, I'll tread lightly here because I'm not trying to get either one of us in trouble when we talk about officiating, but I was a bit confused on the first foul of the game called on Zach Edey, where it occurred to me, or it appeared to me, he was called for a charging foul, but he didn't have the ball. He was just running the floor to get into post position. What exactly happened there, or do you know?
Yeah, well, first of all, like the charging call has changed with the basketball. So, you know, when your foot is still planted there on the ground, like that guy has to be set. What they're trying to do, and the arc there at the rim, they're just trying to stop collisions. They're trying to help the safety of the game. So they're trying to make it harder really to get that, you know, that block charge, the block and the, going back and forth, whether it's a block and a charge. They're just trying to make that harder because they want more people to play the basketball, more verticals where you see more people jumping straight up in the air. So they don't have those collisions, okay? And that's why they have that circle there. They're forcing people to get out of that circle, and if they're in it, then they got to jump. But like last night's the first time I've seen it in a long time in college basketball where people are they tried to take a charge on one of our guys. Now, we set open court ball screens. Like, so you saw us set a couple open court where the ball is involved. Everybody does that. Everybody comes up with their 4 or their 5, stops, sets a screen just to try to get that on-ball defender off of that guy so he can navigate. But this doesn't involve the basketball. And so they did it twice last night, and the ref, I don't know what he was looking at. Zach actually stops right there and doesn't go through him. He takes one more step afterwards, but he just goes over there and just gets in his way as he's running up the court. It's not a basketball play. I don't understand how he called it, why he called it. They're trying to get away from this stuff with the basketball, let alone without the basketball. Then they set one 70 feet from the rim, and it's a total block on the guy. And he sets it, and neither one of them, one official runs up the court and doesn't look down his shoulder to see the play. The other one, I don't know why he doesn't come and pick it up because he doesn't have a lot of things going. But they're just not basketball plays, and it's how guys get hurt.
Well, it was unfortunately an early foul on Zach Edey, which then a second foul came shortly thereafter. And that's really now 2 games in a row, Coach, where in the first half, Big Z was in some foul trouble, and you had to manipulate working around that.
Yeah, no question. He's had a couple, when you go back, a lot of the times in calls, people are asking, like, why I don't say anything. But when it's 60 feet from you and it's away from you, like, it's really hard to understand some things and everything that's in front of him. But he's just got he got a bad call in Minnesota game in the first half. He got a bad call in Wisconsin in the first half. He got a bad call here. It's part of it. It's everybody thinks he gets away from it. But if we had a role reversal and they'd come watch tape from my perspective, I think they'd look at it a little bit differently.
I will say this, that Minnesota game specifically on the Thursday night, I thought Caleb First did a whale of a job for you filling in for the foul-prone Zach Edey in that first half. I thought he gave you some great minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought he really played hard. I thought he did a good job in Ohio State. Like, his rebounding and his effort, he just, we had that little stretch there where we couldn't stick it back in and get those layups like we talked about earlier. But his effort was really good there. I thought he scored the basketball, had that and one in the Minnesota game. And just did some good things and brought energy to the team in both games.
You think about the way his role has changed at Purdue. He was a starter there for actually quite a while early in his career. Now he plays the backup to Zach Edey, and now you've talked about this before, just staying ready, being a professional, knowing that, hey, I'm the backup to the National Player of the Year. There just aren't a lot of minutes for me right now.
Yeah, and Trey was in that role last year, and, Trey's ability to score – we just felt like that needed to be like nourished, and we just felt like having Mason and having Trey, both guys that can score the basketball. We get in the NCAA tournament and we're in the 50s. We'd have top 5 offense in the country, but we're in the 50s in those games. So when you reflect and you try to make adjustments and do some things, sometimes there's going to be someone in the equation that gets the short end of it for no reason, just because there's not enough minutes to go around. But he stays ready, like you mentioned. And Caleb's done a really good job of coming in and giving us a spark.
You brought up Trey Kaufman-Renn. It certainly appeared in that first half, especially yesterday, that you wanted to establish Trey Kaufman-Renn early, something you must have liked, obviously, in a scouting report look. Yeah,
we like his matchup, period. No matter who the 4 is on the other team. And that's just – it's one of those things where you can go to him and establish him and do some things, but at some point you're coming back to Braden through ball screens, you're coming through Zach through post-ups. So, you can establish him, you can run some things, do some different things, but it's going to be balanced through those other 2 guys because we generate a lot of double teams in Braden's ball screens. We generate a lot of double teams in Zach's post-ups, but then when we go to Trey or whatever, they don't always double team, and we love that. We love that one-on-one matchup, but I thought he did a really good job right there. He had a couple other opportunities, and he just lost his footing a couple times, and was going to have more he had more opportunities to score the basketball in that game, but I thought he really really played well and scored to start the game.
The other thing he did well yesterday, he made the free throws. You have been talking about he's doing such a good job offensively, but he's not making the defense pay the price for fouling. He made both of his and ones yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt. It was great for him. He's puts in a lot of time every morning. Coach Lusk walks by my office and says, going down to work with Trey on free throws every morning. So and that's what, that's what good players do. Good players stay with it. Good players work at it. They put in that extra time. And for him, it's been pretty frustrating. I'll be honest. He gets down on himself. He wants to change things or whatever. But, he stays the course and he keeps working, and that's what you need.
He was a part of a free throw shooting barrage for our Boilermakers yesterday. Purdue was 20 of 20 at the foul line in that game against Ohio State. More with Coach Painter when we come back. It's presented by GEMCO. That the Matt Painter Show is. This is the Purdue Global Sports Network, and this is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Outside Mackey Arena, where they've been waiting for hours to watch one of the greatest rivalries in college basketball. As Indiana comes into town, this is Fox Prime Time.
All right, we can't find our way in this game by taking tough early shots that are contested. It's going to present itself. All right, and when it does, you take it. All right, I promise you it presents itself. And
Edey, jump up with the right hand, off the heel, and the power.
And Smith from 17 feet, good from the left wing. Braden Smith driving to the rim, another layup right down Northwestern Avenue.
Active hands for Purdue on the offensive glass.
Oh, Purdue offensive rebounding right now, just crushing Indiana. Purdue has 6 offensive rebounds.
Skin along with Purdue.
The play there, Braden Smith jumps the passing lane.
Back to Smith, rising fire. Yeah.
Galloway does miss the first free throw though.
That means chicken sandwiches. Second one on the way.
first 5 minutes of the second half, we've talked about it all year, okay? And it doesn't matter, make, miss, or whatever. Just keep getting good shots, keep going at them.
Edey will shoot a 3 straight away. He backed it in!
Who says I can't hit threes? What? Who said it? I dare you.
Shot, Zachary.
I'm the best shooter on the team. That's your mistake, career.
Stack it up. Hey, go.
Welcome back to the Matt Painter Show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Matt Painter Show. Presented by GEMCO, live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. GEMCO Constructors, supporting your Boilermakers, is the presenting sponsor of the Matt Painter Show. Proud partner of Purdue Athletics. GEMCO Constructors says boiler up. Coach Painter, Thursday night, a win over Minnesota, 84-76. Talk about turnovers. Your team had 7 in the first half, but only 3 in the second half, and really the third one, you were taking a turnover to end the game with the shot clock running out, so it really was 2 second half turnovers. And that really felt like that flipped the script in the second half for you guys. You took care of the ball. You got quality shots. Next thing you know, you go from down 8 at half to you end up winning by 8, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I thought our defense was better in the second half. I thought Ethan Morton did a really good job coming in there and guarding Cam Christie. And, him and Mitchell got loose on us in the first half. And just too much separation, and you got to stay with guys like that, and you got to stay into the basketball. But when you get in that position in the first half, I thought we over-dribbled Minnesota and took some shots. We had some situations where we had some ISOs and some post-ups, and guys went away from it and then didn't get a good shot or turn the basketball over. And, we had Mason Gillis in a couple pick and pops, and we don't find him. And just, we have to keep things simple and move the basketball. But when people are open, they got to have it, whether that's a post-up, an ISO, or wide open shot. Like, we got to do a good job of passing the basketball. I thought we did a much better job in the second half, just taking care of the basketball, but also defending. Our attention to detail in that first half wasn't as good as it was in that second, and it clearly showed.
Quite a game against the Gophers for Braden Smith. 16 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists for Braden, 4 steals and only 2 turnovers. Not bad for a guy that has the ball in his hands all the time and played 38 minutes. Think about that.
No, he was great. He does a great job of, setting guys up, setting himself up, and just taking what the defense gives him. Sometimes they're really aggressive in ball screens, and he's got to get the ball out of his hands early. Sometimes he can manipulate the defense a little bit more if they're in a drop, they're not quite as aggressive. But he's just learned to be able to just take what they give him. Don't get frustrated. if they're getting aggressive. Because when he keeps the ball in his hands sometimes too long, now we can't get that next player, that hockey assist where we move the ball quick and stuff. But P.J. Thompson's done a great job of just kind of helping him see things, understand what the defense is doing, what we want to get out of each possession when we run our stuff.
You mentioned not doing a good job of paying attention to detail in the first 20 minutes against Minnesota. So I'll ask this question then. Is it a matter of, hey, look, we're working with 18 to 22-year-old guys here. Is it a matter of, as a coaching staff, you harp on the fact that this is a much different Minnesota team than they saw last year? This is not the Minnesota team that won only 9 games last year. This is a team that is legitimately putting themselves in a position to maybe be in the top 4 in the Big Ten standings when the season is over, which would mean a double bye for the Big Ten tournament. Is it a matter of, do you think your guys see that in the first 20 minutes? And then at halftime, they make the adjustment because, like, oh, yeah, maybe the coaches didn't know what they were talking about. These guys are way better than we gave them credit for.
And we talked about individual players. It's like Ohio State, like the position that they're in the rankings. They just lost their coach. But they have a handful of guys on their team that can play anywhere. And they got recruited by the world. Like, everybody tried to get them. And so, like, from a talent standpoint, they're 1, 2, 3. They're 5. We're all really, really highly recruited guys. And so, but they have good pieces. Well, Minnesota, like when you look at the skill, you know, from Mitchell, like Hawkins leads the nation in assists.
Yeah.
You know, Cam Christie's going to play in the NBA. Like, whether our guys, and so I try to say some things for like some lights and some bells and some whistles to go off in their head. Like, the NBA is where everybody wants to go, right? That's your goal. His brother plays in the NBA. He's going to play in the NBA. And so Hawkins leads the nation in assist. Mitchell's a guy that can really, really shoot the basketball. And so we really talked about that, but we had to give it better attention, and we just didn't. But more than anything for us, our defense gets affected when we turn the basketball over and we don't make good decisions. And in the first half, our guard play, we just didn't make very good decisions. And you have to be able to continue to get – see, when you take Zach Edey away and you get physical with him, you deny him, you push him up the lane, when shots go up, you're behind him now. People don't understand that. So you can win that's a battle. That's not a war. You can win that battle, but are you going to win this battle here? Because now he is in the best position for a rebound. So when you take good shots don't ricochet off the rim. Good shots don't fly and go crazy. Good shots are normally pretty soft. So now he's by the rim, you're behind him. So just getting quality shots for us is the importance. But back to try to answer your question, I think it's a little bit of both. The other thing that comes up is when you're with skilled players, like we have skilled players, so we shoot 39% from 3 as a team, one of the top 10 in the country from 3. When you deal with skilled players, there's going to be times where they don't have a big hand in our offense, all right? Braden Smith does, Zach Edey does. Then you'll see a game where Lance Jones does. You'll see where Fletcher Lawyer does. You'll see where Mason Gillis does. But you're not going to have a game where all 5 of those guys score 20, right? Sure. Maybe not even 15, maybe not even double figures. 5 guys in double figures is a lot. So they sacrifice a lot for our team, but they work so hard on their game, they still want to score the ball. They still want to do some things. And then when you press and you do some of those things, like we had Dawson Garcia in the first half with 3 fouls, and they did not take him out. So I don't know what the confusion was on their end, but they didn't do it. So we run something right away to go to Trey Kaufman, and we ignore him and drive the ball and turn it over. I mean, that'll make you want to teach 3rd grade. I mean, it was like, man, we got their best player, and he's going to get his 4th foul. Like, we're cooking with gas here. Right. And we went away. So just we weren't connecting the dots there. We got to do a better job of thinking the game and understanding the game and what's going on. But it gets you upset because, the guys that had some struggles with it are really intelligent players, and they're really good players. And so that's what, keeps you going back and watching film and talking and saying, like, hey, man, we can't make these decisions. Like, we're too intelligent of basketball players to make these decisions. Let's just take what the defense gives us, understand what's going on, and play to our strengths.
Time now for our Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how a former Purdue student athlete or athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen, premium pork products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Actually going to mention 2 former Purdue football players because within the last 7 days, they each have taken jobs coaching in the NFL. Nick Hardwick, former Boilermaker, 11 years in the NFL, a Pro Bowl here or there. He just took the assistant offensive line coaching job with the Chargers. You know, Nick had been coaching high school football in Westfield. He's now with the Chargers. And David Blau, did you see this? David Blau retires from playing, and he's now a quarterback coach with the Washington Commanders. So good for those guys making their move into coaching and coaching at the National Football League level. Speaking of coaches, more with Coach Painter when we come back to the Coach Painter Show, presented by GEMCO on the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Jones, no. And Minnesota with an impressive 43-35 lead here in arguably the most hostile environment in college
basketball. It's going to start with defense and having an attention to detail. Don't play through your offense, okay? Play through your effort. Play through your toughness. Play through the little things to guard, and now you know. You know the deal. This right here finds out about who the we are. We've been in a lot of scenarios. We haven't been in this one. All right? Let's find out, man. All right? And let's play Purdue basketball. Let's go.
And it goes down 45-40. This crowd re-energized. 8-0 run, timeout, Ben Johnson.
Be a more disciplined team. 2 minutes ain't good enough. Pick it up.
Kaufman ready, got it back. Jones from deep. Yes. And that's that blow by we see so often from Land.
He made it with a left hand, attacking.
Garcia had it knocked loose and off Garcia.
Multiple effort. He's making the next play. Here we go.
Taken away by Smith. Minnesota's gone about 4 minutes without a field goal here. Tough shot right there. Contested pull-up.
Out ahead to Lance Jones. He will head to the upper room and dunk with his right hand.
Purdue trying to extend their winning streak to 9. Gillis, that'll help. Braden Smith on the drive. Yes, and the foul. And Purdue's win streak goes to 9. They improved to 23-2. They remain perfect at home this season, 13-0. In front of a capacity crowd of just shy of 15,000.
Welcome back, everyone, to Walk-Ons. Everyone needs a little playing time. So before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons here in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Obviously, Walk-Ons, our host of the Matt Painter Show all season long. We thank them for their hospitality. Coach Painter, I've talked about this guy every single coach's show the entire season. And the reason is, quite frankly, he's a generational player, and I don't know if we'll ever have a chance again to talk about a guy like this, at least every single coach's show, and that is Zach Edey. Sunday afternoon against Ohio State, Zach set the career rebounding record. He needed 5 rebounds going in to tie Joe Barry Carroll. He needed 6 to break the record. He got 13. So Zach Edey is now the leading rebounder in the history of Purdue basketball, And he also bypassed E'Twaun Moore yesterday for 3rd place scoring-wise in the history of Purdue basketball. So now Zach is 3rd in scoring. He's 38 points away from tying Joe Barry Carroll for 2nd place, Purdue all-time scoring list. Again, a generational type player. I hope we could have one of those guys every 4 years, but I don't know how realistic that is.
Yeah, when you lose the game other night and you know that happens, like I haven't even said anything to him about it yet, because that's your purpose, right? Yeah. You know, your purpose is winning basketball games. It's like individual awards. That's not the purpose. You know, the purpose is to do whatever for the team, and for him to have those type of numbers and be as unselfish as he's been. Yeah. You know, people don't understand, basketball people understand, he's really competitive, but he's really unselfish. It's a hell of a combination to have when you're 7'4", 300. So he's got great physical ability, but, like, he just wants to win. So, like, he's never somebody like when he got, you know, when we win by 30 or 40 points in some non-conference games, like, I try to get everybody minutes. I don't try to get anybody their average. I don't try to do anything of that nature. When we get in a position and there's 10 minutes to go in the game and, you know, we're up by a certain amount or whatever and it keeps on that cruise control, you know, I don't put him in. You know, he's never said one word. Like, he's never – so, like, when you have those kind of attributes and that kind of elite size where you play hard, you're unselfish, and then you get those type of numbers. Obviously, he's going to be, I don't know what this number is, but he's got to be close to being the winningest player in school history along with Mason and Ethan. It's got to be it's got to be right there, like another 2 or 3 games or whatever. But to pass Joe Barry Carroll for rebounds, now be in position there, like Joe Barry Carroll led Purdue to a Final Four. He was the #1 pick. He's a 2-time NBA All-Star. He averaged 17 points for his NBA career, which when you play 12 years in that league, that's pretty amazing. So he's up there with all the greats. I don't know where he is rebound-wise in Big Ten history. I think he's like 4 or 5.
Got up to 4th, correct.
He's 4th.
Correct.
Yeah, I know Jerry Lucas is at 1. I know Jordan Murphy, I think, is at 2. I didn't remember who's at 3.
I do not either, but he's into 4th position.
Maybe Herb Williams from Ohio State. I know he was in there somewhere. I know Draymond obviously was past 1,000. But just the company you're with. I think anybody that talks when something happens or whatever, and they say, hey, well, you passed Kevin Durant and you passed Russell Westbrook, you're like, whoa, like unbelievable. Like when just to be in that company for him and the way he's went about it, like it just for him to come back, first of all, kind of shows you there's a lot of people from a pride standpoint that just would have went there, and then he'd have got an NBA contract, he got a minimum contract, but he'd been in the G League. Last year he'd have been in the G League, this year a lot. And so now he's put himself in a position where he can go anywhere from 13 to 25. And before he was probably going somewhere from 35 to 45. So that's what it's about, getting closer to your degree and then helping yourself from a professional standpoint.
I do know this, Zach Edey, when the season started, was 23rd in the history of scoring, Purdue basketball, all-time scoring. So not #1 yet, but if you're going to say #1 with a bullet, well, he's certainly done that. 23rd he started, and right now he's 3rd in the history of the school. More with Coach Painter when we come back. This is Purdue Global Sports Network, and this is Boilermaker Basketball from Learfield.
3 to go down, but they're going to need Elijah Hawkins to find some level of efficiency. 3 of his last 16 now from the field.
Meanwhile, it's been all Zach Edey so far for Purdue.
Comes off the screen, gets a pretty good look. I like the swagger that Mike Mitchell has brought to this team. He's had a nice year. He shot it well from 3.
As Edey finding Kaufman rim. Lawyer inside, takes the contact and scores it. But here's First taking his spot. Caleb First, instant impact off the bench.
Wow.
19-3 Minnesota run right now. Edey trying to change that. He does.
Well.
And now Purdue going into Kaufman rim. Hook shot. And it goes down 45-40. This crowd re-energized. Leading freshman scorer in the conference at over 11 a game, and right now Christie has 13. Here's Edey, and he knows what to do with that. Edey, Purdue's back in front.
He seals Fox up that lane. Again, it was the case with the Gillis 3, and it's the case with this assist.
They leave Morton. He finds Edey. Good decision.
Rebound by Pharrell Payne.
Well, he just flew in, but he couldn't finish, and now Jones on the leak out. Back to a 5-point game. Braden Smith on the drive. Yes! And the foul.
They're going to need the 3 to go down, but they're going to need Elijah.
Welcome back to the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO, live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Purdue Athletics would like to thank and recognize members of the Black and Gold Club who support Purdue Athletics through their sponsorship at the highest level. Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Molson Coors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, Rohrman Automotive Group, and Wabash, each great partners of Purdue Athletics. Coach Painter, Thursday night, Rutgers comes to town. Second meeting with the Scarlet Knights this year. Purdue winning against Rutgers back on January 28th, 68-60. But, fans, I will caution you, this Rutgers team is a totally different team than we saw at late January. they've added Jeremiah Williams to their roster. He was suspended the first time we played him. They are a totally different looking ball club, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Just adding, that piece of the puzzle when you have a big guard like that can work downhill and score the basketball and gives you another athlete in your press, gives you another athlete hawking the ball in your half-court defense. They were pretty deep anyways. Like they run a lot of guys in and out. And that was the thing that I talked to our guys about, is that like they have guys that come off the bench that started. They have starters that were coming off the bench. Like, who can play well on a given night for them? You just don't know. You just like they've had a lot of different guys lead them in scoring and do some really good things for them. So they have depth, they have balance, but it's that uncertainty. When you go into most games, like, okay, here's their top 2 guys. You got to stop these 2 guys. If you do, you're going to have a lot of success. With them, they have balance. And obviously Big Cliff has had a great career. But, just right down the line from Fernandez to Simpson to Davis, Andre Hyatt, Moat Mag, seems like he's been there, longer than Mason's been at Purdue. Like, just one of those guys that played from day one. Yep. They just seem like they've been there forever. So they have a lot of guys that really blend well together. They're very, very good defensively. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. So if they're making shots to go on top of that and they're causing some turnovers, that's when they're at their best. And that's what we got to do a good job of, is taking care of the basketball. And we didn't do a great job there. I thought our defense in the first half, we held them to the lowest point total of the year and a half when we went through. I don't know if it still is, but we did a really good job defensively, but we just weren't sharp on the offensive end. We had to be better offensively. We were able to pull out the win, but it's one of the few wins that we've had since I've been coaching here, to where we were out-rebounded and they had fewer turnovers than us. So we won that game, but in my career, we've had 54 games like that. We're 6-48. So when we get out rebounded and then we have more turnovers, but we're 153-15 in my career when we out rebound people and have fewer turnovers. So if you guys see those two stats, it's normally going to be a good night for Purdue.
More with Coach Painter when we come back. This is the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO on the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
He is Fletcher Lawyer in the backcourt. And Smith. This is the shot he loves. And he tied to the backboard, no good.
Big decision by Matt Painter just then to come out and double team Thornton twice.
Here's Jones. His 3 is good. He thought about it. There's the pass down low and a foul. Count the bucket. But around the country knows who you're talking about. Thornton has all the points so far. Ohio State, and Edey with the catch and the finish.
To him. You go around the double. Now here is where he fills the middle. You can't vacate the middle of the floor.
4.
There's a good post up.
Very quick pass, two-handed jab. And the short of it, big time for Purdue.
Yeah, look at Edey, pushes him up the lane just a little bit.
And here comes Braden Smith. And that layup is good. To Smith. Smith looking in. Not much is there for Kaufman-Renn. They go to Edey. Might as well. Oh, he sweeps it down along the baseline. Good look.
The ball tracked him a bit, but here's a pretty pass. A little shovel underneath. Nations are getting Edey the basketball.
There's the extra help, Jones. He's been cool today. Not right now, though.
Watch, they'll float Edey back to the middle of the floor like this and finish. Forget about it. But first may get the ball down low, too.
Braden Smith, that was a great seal.
Sure was. Smith, but also look down, low down there with first. He's just holding off his ground.
Oh, that means Edey is on Middleton. That's a size advantage. Edey wants the ball on the other side.
And they switch back.
Yep. Here's Jones right to the cup. He can't go, but it's finished up by Edey.
So Edey will work the glass, too. Ball goes to the lane. This is a layup, right? Not quite. Edey finished.
Edey to the basket. Didn't have the angle, but the cleanup was there. Count up the free throw line to come within 3. Jones, 4-3. It's good.
Oh, on that play. Here he snips right around and gets that shot off.
Matt Painter Show tonight. We're live from Walk-Ons, and we thank you for joining us. Again, this reminder, we'll be here next Monday night, 6 o'clock, talking Boilermaker basketball. At that time, we'll be talking about Rutgers and Michigan, because those are the 2 next on the schedule for our Boilermakers. Rutgers Thursday night, and then a Sunday afternoon game in Ann Arbor. this upcoming Sunday. Coach, one of the things I've always liked to do is at the midway point of the Big Ten season, I like to get your midway point grade card, if you will. So now we're 75% through the Big Ten season, just 5 games left. Give me the 75% report card. What are we doing well, and where will we need to improve if we want to make it a deep push here at the end of the season?
Well, it's obvious for us. Like when we take care of the basketball, we really give ourselves a great chance. And before, when we would talk about previous teams, we'd say if our turnovers stay here, we're going to give ourselves a great chance. Now it's if our turnovers stay here, we're going to win.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've been able to rebound the basketball. Obviously, Rutgers out-rebounded us, so that's a big challenge, for us in that game. But our free throw shooting on the road has been better than at home. I think when it comes to shooting the basketball, normally you're better at home. But I think for us, our three-point shooting has been so much better. Ohio State did a good job of eliminating our volume. Like we only took 9 of them.
9, yeah.
And so the balance of it, but you still want those possessions back. We were getting the ball where we wanted to get the ball. So Zach having those turnovers, well, that's where we want the basketball. So getting the basketball in those positions, that's what we got to keep doing, is getting the basketball in that position. I think we've done a really good job with that. Braden Smith's done a good job of running our team. Everybody has improved from a three-point percentage from Fletcher to Mason, obviously adding Lance. Where we get sometimes is we get overzealous. So the tough pull-up shots, the tough runners and floaters, if you're at a low clock there, a low shot clock, it's understandable. But when you're not, we're taking some shots there. That's where we got in trouble in Minnesota the first half. That's where we get in trouble in the first half at Ohio State. It's just being overzealous, being a little bit, too impatient, however you want to categorize it. So that's where I think we can make that next step and really just keep growing our offense. But we've done some really good things offensively. Defensively, we've had to cross-match some things with our 4s and 5s. We've had some guys come off the bench like an Ethan Morton and do really well from a defensive standpoint. You see some games I'll go offense-defense. Mm-hmm. And I think with that, like other night, I wanted to do it more. There just wasn't a lot of whistles. And so in the Minnesota game, there was a lot of whistles. And so I was able to get those subs in, offense, defense, and I think that really helped us on both ends. In the game other night, I wasn't. But we just got to have more consistency there. And I talked to our guys about it after the game. Like, if you're a two-way player, great. But if you're a guy that's not, whatever you're getting taken out for, you just got to be more solid on that end of the court. You got to take care of it. And sometimes that's what it is. People don't understand you don't have to hit home runs. You just got to be solid. You got to do your job and keep giving us a chance to score or keep giving us a chance to stop them.
Our final segment of the Matt Painter Show, presented by GEMCO, is next. This is the Purdue Global Sports Network. This is Boilermaker basketball from Learfield.
Outside Mackey Arena, where they've been waiting for hours to watch one of the greatest rivalries in college basketball. As Indiana comes into town, this is Fox Prime Time.
All right, we can't find our way in this game by taking tough early shots that are contested. It's going to present itself. All right, and when it does, you take it. All right, I promise you it presents itself. And
Edey, jump hook with the right hand, off the heel and the power.
And Smith from 17 feet, good from the left wing. Braden Smith driving to the rim, another layup right down Northwestern Avenue.
Active hands for Purdue on the offensive glass.
Well, Purdue offensive rebounding right now, just crushing Indiana. Purdue has 6 offensive rebounds.
Skid along with Purdue. The play there, Braden Smith jumps the passing lane.
Back to Smith, rising fire. Yeah.
Galloway does miss the first free throw though.
That means chicken sandwiches, second one on the way.
First 5 minutes of the second half. We've talked about it all year, okay? And it doesn't matter, make, miss, or whatever. Just keep getting good shots, keep going at them.
Edey will shoot a 3 straight away. He backed it in!
Who says I can't hit threes? What? shoot it. I dare you.
Shot, Zachary. I'm the best shooter on the team. Stack it up.
Welcome back to the Matt Painter Show. Rob Blackman, your host, thanking you for being with us. Only 2 Coach Painter shows left on the season. The next 2 Monday nights, live from walk-ons here at 6 o'clock next Monday, and then the following Monday as well for our final show of the season. So here's a nugget for you. I thought it was interesting. Hopefully you will too. The fact that we are in a leap year. I think most probably know that. We're in a leap year here, which means we'll have 29 days in the month of February. Now, we do not play on February 29th. Purdue basketball will not play next Thursday. We'll play this Thursday, the 22nd. Won't play next Thursday, the 29th. Why is that significant? Well, did you know in the history of Purdue basketball, we have actually played 11 times on February 29th. Is it called Leap Day? I don't know if you call the 29th Leap Day. So we played 11 times on Leap Day, February 29th. We are 6-5 all time. 6-5 all time when playing on February the 29th. However, the most significant statistic is, of the 11 games, we've played 4 home games. Only 4 home games on Leap Day, February 29th. Our record in those 4 home games, we're 4-0. 4-0 when we have a home game on February 29th. So what did I do? Because I'm a team player, I called the Big Ten front office earlier this afternoon, and I asked if we could move that game next Saturday against Michigan State, if we could move it up to Thursday the 29th. I still have not heard back from them, but if I do, I think that will work in our favor. Take that one with you to the water cooler tomorrow, or wait till next Thursday. It'll be more appropriate next Thursday. We'll be in the middle of a leap day, and you can say, hey, do you know what Purdue's basketball record is all time on February 29th? And remember, it's 6-5, but 4-0 at home. The other significant thing, I believe there are 2 major, and really the only 2 real holidays in the month of February. Groundhog's Day on February 2nd and the Leap Day on February 29th. How often do you think Purdue has played on both February 2nd and the 29th in the same season? It's happened only twice. Only twice in our history have we played both on Groundhog's Day and on February 29th. Take that one to the water cooler tomorrow, fans. Purdue Thursday night, Rutgers, 7 o'clock. We hope you'll join us for a 6 o'clock pregame show. For Ethan Sargent and Wes Scott, for Coach Painter, I'm Rob Blackman. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.